Hey everybody, amazing, was it not? I am by myself at the moment. Amber's over on the phone, but I'm Lonnie with Untitled Nerd Network here for the immediate aftermath of the season finale of Game of Thrones, titled "The Dragon and the Wolf." Uh, Holy crap! Well, first off, probably wait until Amber gets in here in a little bit to give any further details. But big shout out to Sarah, who normally joins me here. She's had kind of some stuff going on, so our thoughts are with her in a big way. But gonna go ahead and kind of jump right into some of the stuff that's happened at the end of this episode. No joke, the the freaking scene that almost brought me to tears was the destruction of the wall. The wall came down, and there were fan theories galore saying that this was going to happen, but we didn't know. Fan theories galore saying all kinds of things were going to happen, but we had no clue. And so, I mean, holy crap! Just like one of the very, very few episodes that has left me, for the most part, speechless. And I'm going to probably be carrying this episode by myself for a little bit, which we all know I suck at. But hey, just bear with me. We'll make this happen. I don't even know where to begin, but let's just start in chronological order. We've seen a lot of stuff tonight, a ton of stuff, and it was one of the best, if not the best, Game of Thrones episodes I've ever seen in my life. We had, even the slow parts were just so freaking intense that, holy crap, I didn't even know what to think. We start out with everybody going to this one part off of King's Landing, kind of like an abandoned place. And so everybody shows up except for Daenerys, and they have a White Walker in this chest. They've got it. And so we end up seeing a lot of people meet up for the first time. We see Tyrion face to face with Cersei since he went on the run seasons ago. We see, Tyrion meet, he had already met a few episodes ago with Jaime Lannister, his brother. We actually got to see the Hound face to face with Brienne of Tarth. That was some really cool stuff. And remember, if you're, if you're watching live and in the chat, feel free to jump in and give your thoughts. I would be more than happy to chat it up with everybody, especially since Amber's not readily available right now. She should be down here directly. Of course, Daenerys makes the grand entrance on the dragon, which was a pretty good, pretty smart deal, because she ended up not riding with everybody else, on the boats and everything. And, that was, for the most part, smart, because, if one of those boats went down, that wasn't everybody. It's best to kind of spread your forces out. That way one good hit doesn't kill everybody. So I absolutely can kind of see where they were going with that. So Daenerys swoops down on the back of a dragon. And, of course, it's like I was telling Amber during the episode, you could do just an episode of scenes of Daenerys flying down on the dragon and everybody looking at it. And it's like some of the coolest TV ever put on TV. It's freaking awesome. I could just watch an episode of that happening over and over and over, and never get bored. It's just, she commands that, I guess, coolness. Comes down on the dragon, and holy crap. But again, you're watching Untitled Nerd Network's live recap. Like I said, it's just me. Like I said, our thoughts go out to Sarah. She had a tragedy in the family the last couple of days, and so she wasn't able to join us. Our thoughts are with you, Sarah. Hope everything. Hope you're doing better. Better. But the last couple of days have been kind of rough. And Amber was watching, and then she got a phone call and was called away. So we all know that, Lonnie sucks at doing solo stuff. Wish you were here, Mark. um, we ended up having Euron Greyjoy interrupt Tyrion. Tyrion's about to do his, big time speech where he stands up in front of Cersei and everybody else and, is going to say, hey, this is why we need to band together and all this good stuff. And instead, Euron pops up and was like, ha ha ha, why should we listen to you, blah, 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 all that crap. And so, oh, by the way, spoilers, if you haven't seen the season finale of Game of Thrones, probably be a good idea to turn it off because we're going to talk about every little plot detail of this episode. Might not be as long an episode since Sarah's not here with me, but we're going to probably drag this out for at least a half hour, talking about every little thing that has happened tonight. And like I said, it did not disappoint. In my personal opinion, the greatest Game of Thrones episode to ever air. And it was the first scene in my life, like as far as Game of Thrones is concerned, that actually made me tear up. Like, not out of sorrow or anything, but just out of holy crap, how cool is this? How freaking awesome is this scene? But anyway, Jon Snow pulls out, they get the Hound to bring up this White Walker in the chest. They take all the rods out of the chest, open it up, and for just like a split second, I thought the White Walker was dead. I honestly thought that through some weird, plot loophole or something, maybe the Night King had, deactivated this particular White Walker. Never mind, I got kind of distracted. There's like some behind the scenes stuff of Jon Snow hooking up with Daenerys. that happened tonight, by the way. Anyway, like I said, if you have anything to say about tonight's episode, feel free to hop in the chat. I'm monitoring the chat. Or, whatever. It'd be awesome. So Jon Snow ends up bringing out this White Walker, and the White Walker immediately runs after Cersei. And, you kind of get your hopes up for just a split second. Holy crap, this is the end of Cersei Lannister. But no, it's not the end of Cersei Lannister. The White Walker is on a chain that is literally like 6 inches short of being able to give this guy free reign to Cersei's face, and he's like, chomping and everything, and she's just looking at it. Well, of course, everybody, Euron Greyjoy just basically says to hell with everybody, and he leaves. And so, he's like, I'm going back to my island, that's where I'm going to stay, screw this battle, there is no way we can beat these guys, crap like that. So he leaves, and so Cersei accepts the truce. And anybody that knows Cersei knows good and freaking well that crap is not going to hold. I mean, there's no way it could be that easy, right? Right, exactly. So it all kind of comes together, and then Cersei basically tells him, okay, I'll do it as long as you, pledge yourself to me as your queen. And Jon Snow... Not, hey, Mark's there. Thank you for dropping in, Mark. I could probably use some of your insight the entire show, or at the very least until Amber gets back. Anyway, Jon refuses to bend the knee to Cersei, and the reason being is he's already pledged himself to Queen Daenerys Targaryen. And, his words were, if you keep lying, he said there's only 6 episodes left, even if they are longer. I'm not really, is it 6 episodes? I think we may have something like 8. I thought there were more episodes that were going to be in, yeah, I mean, I think there might be more than 6. I mean, it might be just 6, but for some reason I was thinking there were like 15 total, and there were 7 in this season. But I could be wrong. We'll probably have to look it up on Wikipedia or something before the end of the show. Yeah, the whole Baelish thing, we'll get to that here in a little bit. I'm going to try to cover everything in like chronological order. Um, so once John refuses to, bend the knee to Cersei in, various forms, Cersei basically backtracks and says, "Okay, y'all are on your own. Screw you," that kind of thing. And so it was kind of funny because Brienne actually takes Jaime Lannister to the side afterwards and tells him, hey, we need to make this happen. We need to do all this. And Jaime Lannister actually tells her, "Oh, loyalty has to mean something." And like one of the funniest things, Brienne looks at him and just straight up says, "Fuck loyalty." And at that point, it's true because, honest to God, Cersei is going off the deep end here. She doesn't care that it's almost to the point where like she's the Mad Queen at this point. She is exactly what she is trying to stop. She doesn't want Daenerys to become queen. Oh, because she's going to end up being a Mad Queen just like her father was the Mad King. Where in actuality, Cersei is actually the Mad Queen already. She's doing stuff that's the Brienne and Hound reunion was pretty cool. The Hound and Mountain, like Hound he was like meeting up with everybody, meeting up with people he hadn't seen forever. He hasn't seen his brother since like season 1, hasn't seen Brienne of Tarth since like the 3rd or 4th season. And so he just runs into everybody, and he actually, during this little meeting, he confronts his brother, and they basically just kind of look each other over, exchange words, and it was like some really neat stuff. But yeah, Tyrion actually goes to Cersei after this meeting. And, you've got like everybody waiting around. And you kind of get that idea also that sparks are kind of sort of flying under the radar for Daenerys and Jon Snow. And, more on that later. But Tyrion goes and meets Cersei and has a very emotional talk with her, just about how he really cared for her children and how, he was sorry for everything that happened, but, basically their dad had it coming to him, when he killed him a few seasons back. And just, a lot of stuff. They cover a lot of ground in this little, like, 5-minute conversation. And it's interesting because you can tell that Tyrion, in a way, really cares about his family. But at the same time, his family does not give two shits about him. And it's horrible because he's been mistreated his whole life, but he's made a very excellent name for himself. He's always tried to do the right thing. Granted, he has his affinities for women, and who can blame him. But, he ends up really just screwed over and over and over, and not in the good way. He can't catch a break, and then now he's, the hand of the queen, and is making a very good name for himself, and is making it a point to, like, try to do good, try to help the greater good. And, let's see, what do we got here on the chat? Consists of only 6 episodes. Thanks, Mark, for that info. That is going to suck. Even though they probably will be like an hour 10, hour 20, hour 30 long. That would be pretty sweet. Let's see. So the guy who was crushing on Brienne died. That came from Eli Rogers. Couldn't tell if he got out. If so, that was a very underwhelming and unexpected death. He survived. They were on the part of the wall that did not fall. There was pretty much the part of the wall, like they tore down like the whole east part of the wall. We'll get to more of that here in just a minute. And that guy was Tormund. Mark says, look like Tormund is buried in ice. We're saying that would be someone who... Yeah, it didn't look like the part that they were standing on collapsed. It looked like they made it. Now, how they're able to get down, I don't know, because they really did a number on the wall. Cersei refuses to kill Tyrion, and this was an incident. This was actually the first of 2 incidents where I'm not sure if maybe there's some prophecy involved or anything, but each of Cersei's brothers, both Tyrion and Jaime both offered her, with a mountain standing there, just basically told her, okay, go ahead and kill me. And she didn't kill either one of them. So, and I actually, for real, like I knew Tyrion wasn't going anywhere at that point, but I honest to God thought that was how Jaime was going to go out. And I would have been sorely disappointed. I would have been pissed. This episode was amazing. And even though that would have been a huge death if Jaime would have been killed, I feel like that it would have taken a lot out of the episode, and it would have kind of knocked the wind out, because the death of Jaime Lannister would suck, because I'm really liking the guy. He is trying to protect the people, and he's realizing now that Cersei is absolute hot garbage, and he has basically had this conversation with her and said, hey, I think you're wrong, and she tells him, I'll have you killed if you walk out on me. He walks out on her anyway, and big whoop, that was it. He walked out, and that was all. Thanks for everybody for stopping by. If you have any comments to say in the chat, I am manning the show by myself. You can see this big empty spot right here where normally Sarah is, and our thoughts are with her tonight as she deals with some very important sad family stuff. So our thoughts are with you, Sarah. And Amber is actually upstairs right now on a phone call. Some important stuff. Yes, check my phone is what Mark says. Okay. No, I'm not going to do the speaker thing. I'd have to get Skype set up and all that other stuff. We'll just kind of roll with it right now, because pretty sure Amber will be down here before the end of the show. And I've kind of found my groove here. I'm actually able to talk, and you folks keep doing what you're doing, because you're doing a good job. Thanks, Mark, for being in the chat and giving me a hand here tonight, because this is a very, very big episode. This is the season finale, and we're gonna have to wait, I guarantee, like a freaking year plus for more Game of Thrones. So can't wait. Like we're already waiting, and I mean, yeah, it's that's my shirt. I'll have to get it up here, yeah, it's a homage to the old Dark Phoenix issue, except it's Stranger Things. I very much love the shirt. So thank you, Kenzie, for the kind words on the shirt. Thank you, Eli. We'll pass along to Sarah your kind words on her situation. Tyrion has discovered Cersei's pregnant. Cersei's pregnant. And so basically what we have there is, I guess he could read her body language. Cersei's had, 3 children? Or has been pregnant 3 times. And or 4 times, if you count, I guess, the one she lost. And, he's like, let's see. God, yeah, there is rumor going around that it could be 2019 before this next episode is released, before season 8 finally comes around, and that will suck. I'm just saying, that would absolutely suck. Yeah, that was the whole deal. She was doing that typical pregnant thing where she's like holding her belly and doing that kind of thing. So, also, while I'm thinking about it, everybody remember we are going to be at Wizard World on September 8th, 9th, and 10th. And we're also going to have episode of UNN Live. Or no, not UNN Live. Saturday Night Crew is going to be this coming Saturday night, 9 p.m. A little under a week. Rumor has it that Gendry is the baby Cersei lost. Maybe. That might be the case. And but at this point, Gendry doesn't really mean a whole lot, because he is like the rightful heir to Robert Baratheon, but at the same time, nobody really cares about the Baratheons anymore. So I'm like, we did care about the Baratheons, when was it, 4 seasons ago, whenever, Cersei and Joffrey had all the babies killed. We wanted that one heir to come up and be the rightful claim to the throne. But at this point, after they kill off Cersei, it's just going to be Daenerys or John now, with the major revelations that they threw on us tonight. Stuff that people had suspected, but it was really neat to see some of the actual events transpire on the screen and us get that for sure, absolutely certain realization. So Cersei refuses to kill Tyrion. Tyrion discovers that Cersei is pregnant, but Cersei agrees to fight. And, she had agreed to fight before, backtracked on it. Agreed to fight again. Will she backtrack? We'll cover that here in just a second. Kenzie wants me to talk about the sex. We're getting to that. Like I said, I'm covering it in chronological order. We will talk about the incestuous actions in this episode. This apple whiskey's making it a little easier. So, after all that, we end up, Littlefinger and Sansa are talking. They get a raven from Jon, basically saying, hey, I've bent the knee to Cersei, and Littlefinger is like, oh, that's bull. It shouldn't be happening. You need to take over up here, and, all that good stuff. So, I wrote down on my notes Sansa's realization, and that was like, he basically told her, if you want to know somebody's true motives, just imagine, the worst possible things, and she kind of did that, about Jon, and so a little bit later on, actually, no, we're not going to talk about that just yet. We're going to kind of back off that. I know everybody was kind of getting their hopes up as to what we were going to talk about here in just a second. But there was one scene that we needed to discuss, and that was the fact that Jon Snow had a very emotional discussion with Theon Greyjoy. That was really nice. Let's see. Oh, yeah, Eli's got to go to work in a couple of minutes. Well, man, I really appreciate you coming by anyway. Many thanks. And like I said, this is going to be, this is actually live right now, but once we wrap the show, it will be archived. And so you can go onto our Game of Thrones playlist or our most recent uploads, check it out in its entirety. I'm really hoping that we're able to get at least half an hour out of this, and more than likely we will, because we're at the 22-minute mark now. Eli also says, I can't believe in a season finale, with so few episodes left, only one main person died? Yeah, but I'm going to go ahead and count the Wall as a character, pretty much. That was a good conversation, and Theon kicking that guy's ass. Yes, what was the guy's name? Does anybody in the chat know the dude's name that Theon killed? I'm going to say he killed him, because he beat the dude in the head with a rock like 6 times. Number one, Theon took an ass whipping. He did. Theon got beat down. And that in itself, I'm sure, the fact that he kept coming back at the guy, Theon finally grew his pair back. And that was what people have been wanting Theon to do for like the better part of 2 years now. Because Theon was like the most horrible villain on the planet whenever he took over Winterfell. But then when Ramsay Snow came in and basically like tortured him and made him a shell of the man that he was, suddenly you really began to root for Theon Greyjoy. And it's weird how Game of Thrones does that, because there was actually a point I was rooting for Cersei. Can you believe that? Really? The Wall, aka the Titanic ice wall, broke ahead. Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, the Wall was absolutely crazy. That's another thing we're going to talk about here in just a minute. I could talk about that crap for half an hour in itself. But anyway, Theon Greyjoy is back. He has taken over that little group. They're going to go rescue his sister. His sister is at King's Landing. And also, we never got closure on the Sand Snake ladies. The last time we saw was, 3-4 episodes ago? And Cersei, kissed the daughter and was going to make the mother watch as her daughter died from that poison. And that was literally like 4 episodes ago. And we've still not seen the results of that, and it looks like it's going to be another year. Did the daughter die? Will the daughter die? Will the mother die? Will Yara, will she make it out? How in the world is Theon Greyjoy and about 3 dozen sailors going to manage to break into King's Landing, into the Queen's dungeon, and manage to rescue his sister? How in the world is that going to happen? That's going to be one of the main points that I'm going to be wondering about for the next year. Yeah, the mother is watching her daughter die. And he only accomplished it because of what Ramsay did to him. Yeah, that is true. Ramsay absolutely messed him up, like post-traumatic stress disorder, in like the biggest way. Anyway, I appreciate everybody coming by. We're going to continue on in chronological order on the Game of Thrones season 7 finale. Thank you for dropping by, and if you have any thoughts on this episode, drop in the YouTube chat. We'll be glad to hear from you. I'm running this episode by myself as far as on camera. Our actual one of our helpers, my co-host on Malarkey, Mark, he is in the chat as well, chatting things up. But let's get to Justice of Littlefinger. Spoiler alert. This is your last chance. Okay, if you're still here, Littlefinger's dead. They killed him. Sansa brought Arya in, and of course, Littlefinger's there. All the, the soldiers in Winterfell are there for this, and you think that Sansa has brought Arya in for a trial, betraying the family and things like that. And instead, when she says, you're being tried for murder and, treason and all this stuff, and she looks over at Littlefinger and, says, how do you answer these charges? And they basically tell Littlefinger, hey, you're that guy, you did this, you're the one who started this whole crap, you're the one who killed the Hand of the King, before the very first episode, you're the one that set my father up, you're the one that did this, you're the one that did that, and just basically laid it all out, and they figured it out. And because Bran has been seeing everything. Arya's not stupid. Sansa just needed some people to, her siblings, to really kind of help her along in this. They figure out really quick that Littlefinger has done all of these horrible things. They try him for it, and immediately, there's no defense. He admits to everything, but always has a good reason. He tells Sansa, hey, can we not talk about this in private? Nope. And so Arya walks up, pulls out the dagger, slits his throat, and he lays there and dies in front of everybody. That is the end of Littlefinger. I honestly didn't think it was going to end like that for him. I mean, I did call it because I actually really bought into one of those fan theories that Arya and Sansa were working together and they probably would confront Littlefinger, but I didn't think it would happen like that, and I really didn't think he would die. I honestly thought that he would be around for the next season, but Littlefinger's out of the way, and let's see. Yep, Mark says he called it. Yep, it's did. It was great, and yeah, Bran said, he held a knife to, Ned Stark's throat. But yeah, it was good stuff. Yeah, and Arya, she was playing him pretty good. Arya's not stupid. She went through, a crap ton of training, very hardcore stuff, and she actually, she put it to good use in this episode. But it was interesting. I couldn't believe it. It was one of those things that you really wanted to happen, but you really didn't think they were gonna, pay it like that. I didn't think it was going to pay off. I really thought that Littlefinger was still going to be alive. Now you kind of see the writing on the wall that Arya and Sansa had kind of plotted, but I didn't know 100% for sure. And then this happens. So, good for them. And we don't have to worry about Littlefinger anymore. Then we see Jaime and Cersei. Cersei lied. She basically, this whole truce that she had, she was going to go fight with them in the north. Those were lies. She was going to betray everybody. Jaime was not. Oh, apparently I look good on a 52-inch screen. So, thank you. Thank you very much. So we end up seeing Cersei and Jaime really get into an argument. And this is the first time I've ever really seen them at each other's throats. And once again, Jaime tells Cersei, as Tyrion did earlier in the episode, you know what? I don't agree with this. Are you going to have the hound or the mountain kill me? And I honestly thought that she kind of gave the nod, like, yeah, go ahead and kill him. And I was like bracing for Jaime Lannister to be beheaded or his skull crushed or something. But fortunately, we didn't have to deal with that. Jaime Lannister lives to fight another day, and as he leaves, it begins snowing in King's Landing. Which is major because one of Daenerys Targaryen's visions earlier, I believe it was in season 2, maybe season 3, was the busted up throne room with the roof kind of caved in and messed up and snow falling on the Iron Throne. So winter is here. Winter is here in all of Westeros because it is now snowing at King's Landing, and that's big time. That means a lot. Let's see what we got here. Oh, okay. So Mark says, I didn't know this. Cat hair in my mouth. Mark says, one nod to draw, one nod to kill. He only got one nod. So, I did not know that. Is that like something legit, or did you just come up with that? Because for some reason, I feel like I should know that, and I don't. But, yeah, Eli says, can't wait to rewatch all 7 seasons. I wouldn't put it past us to go back and do a complete series review of Game of Thrones. That would be pretty neat, at least knowing what we do now, knowing how we get up to, the current deal. But, it's a guess. That's great. So Jaime walks out on Cersei. It's snowing in King's Landing. And then Sam shows up at the very end of this, or kind of sort of in the next to last big scene. He walks in, sees Bran, and, he tells, Bran tells Sam, Jon's the bastard son of, Rhaegar and, my aunt, and then, Sam says, well, we found this manuscript, which suddenly he knows all about it, even though he wasn't really paying attention. They must have had time to read manuscripts on the way to Winterfell. And so he's like, well, it actually says that they were married in a secret ceremony by the High Septim and, all this other stuff. And so they say, all right. So Bran uses his abilities to go back, and he actually sees the actual ceremony, the secret ceremony performed, in which Targaryen and Stark were married. And so they realize that Jon, who I guess now is Jon Targaryen, is the rightful heir to the Iron Throne. And this is something that we've known for a little while, have theorized about it even longer, but now we know 100% irrefutable proof that that is the case. And so that's where we're going next season. And as they tell this story, and we see that, it's intertwined with scenes of Jon walking into Daenerys' quarters on the boat, and they get naked and hook up. So it looks like Jon and Daenerys are a thing. And it was even funnier because they are telling this story about them being related as they are getting naked together. So I actually thought that was kind of funny in like its own like ironic way. I mean, there could have been a better time to tell that story. Let's see. Yeah, he read it off screen. Even Danny got her a little snow. That's pretty funny. Aegon Targaryen, the true heir to the Iron Throne. Aegon's not alive anymore, though. Yeah, I would say they made such a big deal this episode out of, um, they made such a huge deal out of Daenerys telling Jon that she can't have children, that I really think this one little union between the two will result in Daenerys becoming pregnant. She will have an heir, probably even die giving childbirth, knowing the way Game of Thrones goes. But also, can anybody tell me? Okay, so Jon's real name is Aegon Targaryen. Sorry about that. I missed the first name. So yes, thank you, because I just completely looked like an idiot right then. Could somebody tell me? I don't know the terminology, but Mark, maybe you can look this up. Tell me how long a fortnight is. Is that 40 nights? Or what am I working with there? So Jon Snow's real name is Aegon Targaryen. Aegon Targaryen. But yeah, I need clarification how much a fortnight is, because that's gonna kind of give me an idea of where to go with this next topic. Anyway, we do get that flashback, very satisfying flashback. Probably going to have to watch it again. And then came a scene with Arya and Sansa talking. They're just kind of discussing their thing. It's kind of just a brief, nice little recap, and kind of lets their storyline kind of end out on a up note, for the season. Okay, so a fortnight is 2 weeks. According to them talking during this episode, the Dothraki can ride, if they ride hard, can ride from King's Landing to Winterfell in a fortnight. So if that's 2 weeks, it's a 2 weeks ride from King's Landing to Winterfell. So that should give you a pretty good idea of the distance. Okay, the word arrives from Old English. Not even going to try to pronounce that, meaning 14 nights. Okay, for some reason I was thinking it was 40. And I was like, that really is some distance. But apparently a fortnight is 2 weeks. The whiskey's gone, so that means we're going to begin to wrap up. Amber's here. Does Amber want to come over here and say some words?
No, I don't.
I have been carrying this.
I've been hearing you.
I've been carrying this show.
You're doing
I have
great.
been, but I will say Mark has been a tremendous help in the chat.
I'm sure he always is.
A crow can fly in a day. Well, I mean, I guess you're taking into account terrain and things. A crow can move. These are some fast birds. Yeah, there's some fast birds. Just like an airplane, or well, not really an airplane, but I would say like a bird could make it from here to the next county a lot quicker than I could in a car, because you got to worry about trees and
Traffic lights.
Yeah, and stopping. These birds probably have a lot of stamina.
Yeah.
But finally, before we wrap this evening, we're going to talk about the destruction of the wall. Do you have any words on that, Amber? The destruction of the wall.
That was pretty awesome.
It was by far, in my personal opinion, I love it when Daenerys flies in on a dragon. I love it when we see these big battles. I love the destruction of the, roughly like half of King's Landing last season. It's like, I have a lot of favorites, but the destruction of the wall seriously was really, there was, I'm not going to say just the destruction of the wall, because from the time the flashback started that showed the wedding, the secret ceremony and all that other stuff, up to the destruction of the wall, was seriously like 10 of the best minutes of television I've ever seen in my life. The destruction of the wall really was my favorite scene in Game of Thrones. Maybe not my favorite scene of all time, but it's easily in my top 5. Right up there with like Negan's introduction in The Walking Dead.
Oh my God.
And, a few things like that. But yeah, you have Tormund, and a few others, from like the Brotherhood. They were hanging around up there on the wall at the East Watch, and they see like one of the White Walkers walk out, and then one or two more, and then suddenly there's a crowd of like 100,000, and they stop, and they're just standing there. Well, then suddenly here comes that damn dragon, and the dragon like swoops down and just starts blasting blue fire, which I'll go ahead and say the blue flames mean technically that it's hotter than the regular flames. So that's some hardcore stuff.
Yeah, the blue flame is the hottest flame.
It is not an ice dragon. Everybody was thinking this thing was going to be an ice dragon because it was a White Walker, but this thing still holds its flame building properties. I don't know if maybe it will have cold ability.
Doubtful.
We just hadn't seen it. But yeah, I think if anything's going to be that hot, there is no way. And is it just me, or did that dragon look like it was flying a little faster?
Yeah,
it did. It kind of gave that. It kind of gave that look like the dragon was.
But I don't know if it was just meant for that scene or if that's.
Yeah, that's a strong possibility. I'm gonna have to go back and rewatch that scene. I really don't think Tormund is buried under ice. It looked like he got away.
You think so?
I really think he got away.
I hope so, but I
because
don't think so.
they were boogieing pretty hard.
They were trying to get the hell out of there.
Like I'll show you right here. Like let's say we've got the ground and then the wall, and then you've got I'm going to try to show this as like a very brief, like let's say this is the wall and over here's the water. The dragon basically wiped out everything from like here, like that way. Oh, I'm doing horrible. But anyway, like everything over here, the dragon wiped out, and they just go walking across it. Tormund was like right here and managed to run this way before the wall actually fell good. That's kind of what I'm working with there. So, like Tormund was here. I really need like a graphic or something up on the screen. And so the dragon destroys this whole area right here. It collapses. The army marches across. Everybody, they are across the wall now. Next stop, Winterfell. Seriously, that's the next city that they're going to come to. Well, Eastwatch fell, but it was part of the wall. It was like in there. So now we've got Littlefinger dead. We've got Jaime Lannister is probably going to branch off on his own and cause some kind of uprising at King's Landing and take off part of the army to go fight with his brother and Daenerys and everybody else. They're probably going to end up on their own. That's my prediction. I think Daenerys is going to end up being pregnant. God only knows where that's going to go. But, in true Game of Thrones fashion, she's going to have to die giving childbirth. That's how it's going to end.
Really?
And I think Jon Snow...
Yeah, probably.
Jon Snow will end up being king, and he'll have his little baby heir.
Yeah.
And he'll probably end up disfigured or something after the battle with the White King.
Something like that can do.
Yeah, something like that's going to happen. But yeah, this was probably the most game-changing episode in Game of Thrones history. I mean, you could say what you will about last episode with the death and resurrection of the dragon, or when Daenerys finally got her army, or when Cersei became queen, or when any number of kings died, or whatever. This episode, like the last two episodes, have just been straight up payoff. Absolute payoff. And this episode kept me interested from the very beginning until the credits rolled. I did not take my eyes away. And that freaking scene where the wall fell, I damn near cried. I really did. It was just, and it wasn't like a sad crying. It was just like, I had nothing. Like, I couldn't even say anything. And I honestly thought that I was going to like be in tears when we started the show. And I was like, oh, nope. Not going to go that route. But anyway, that is pretty much it. This wraps another season of Game of Thrones. And remember, if everything goes according to plan, I'm not really sure what next weekend holds yet. But we'll see. But right now the plan is every Sunday night we are going to watch an episode of Westworld and do a review on it. So we'll see how that goes. This week right now is kind of, we're really unsure what's going on. We will be doing broadcasts through the week. I'll probably be on, Lord only knows, probably playing some NASCAR or something during the day. But this is it for Game of Thrones. It's been an amazing season. In my personal opinion, the best season of Game of Thrones yet. It was short, but oh, it was so sweet. And so that's it. I appreciate everybody coming.
Your artwork is amazing.
Huh?
Oh, I guess talking about the picture you drew. At first, I was really confused.
Yeah, I did. I drew it. It looks almost like a monorail or something.
I still like the picture of the flower that you drew earlier, like a long time ago, that said "Secret Flower Business."
Oh yeah, I can do another one of them. But yeah, I mean, I do try. But this is it. This is Game of Thrones, the end of this season, and it's going to be like another.
He said we need a graphics department.
Yeah, no doubt. We really do. Neil Beowulf has done excellent on our graphic design and stuff, and that's pretty much all we need at this point. I just need I need a couple of little things. Maybe I'll get on Microsoft Paint and get ready. But we're going to go ahead and call it a night. We're already a little bit past 11. This has been really fun. I've really enjoyed doing these these recaps with Sarah. They've been a whole lot of fun. So much so that I want to do them on other shows. We're going to start doing The Spoiling Dead when it comes on in late October. We're going to start doing it live. Amber's going to be in on that with us. Going to be our own Walking Dead talk show. Maybe people will watch us instead of Talking Dead.
I don't know about all that.
Well, AMC. Here's the thing about AMC though, is they a lot of times they're like, look, we know you want Talking Dead, but here's this other show that you don't care about. We're going to show Talking Dead at like 11:30 tonight. And then by that time, everybody's asleep. Nobody wants to watch Into the Badlands.
That rarely happens. That actually, Into the Badlands, I think, is the only one they did that with, was it not?
Yeah. But they did it like 2 seasons in a row.
One episode.
No?
No, it wasn't multiple episodes. You're out of your mind.
I really think it was.
I really know it wasn't.
It wasn't like the whole season, though. But anyway, that's become like a marketing thing. Is, AMC's like, hey, Walking Dead's over with. We know you want the Talking Dead, but here, watch this other show that we're going to use to kind of artificially inflate our numbers. Because nobody really wants to watch this show, but they might power through it to get to the Talking Dead. Except for me, because I have to be in the bed by like 10:30.
I don't know how many people record Talking Dead and then watch it next day. Lots of people.
I never could do it. I tried. It wasn't for me. But we will be live after every single episode of The Walking Dead. We're going to be live over the next few weeks with Westworld. We're going to be... Are we going to try that with... Are we going to try to do American Horror Story? It might not be live because I think that show don't come on till 10.
Yeah, it comes on almost past our bedtime.
Yeah, and that would mean we'd have to be up till midnight doing those damn things.
I don't think that's a thing.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll figure it out. But anyway,
do it like we do Rick and Morty.
Yeah, the next day.
Yeah.
But yeah, this was very epic. Thanks, Mark, for coming by. Thanks, Amber, for running the chat and kind of being the behind the scenes person. Thanks to Sarah. Hate you couldn't be here tonight. Hope everything goes well. And that is it. This has been our Game of Thrones recap. Thank you, everybody, for coming by. And we'll see everybody in a few days. But as far as Game of Thrones is concerned, see everybody in a little over a year. Thanks for watching.